Well, for the third straight year, Governor Cuomo has included a proposal to legalize recreational marijuana in the state budget. Now, it's stalled every time over taxes and social equity issues. It's 2021 now. Is this the year that it happens?
And in this original report tonight, Tonya Side's Claudine Ewing goes beyond the headlines to see where things really stand.
All eyes will be on Albany over the coming weeks to see if finally the state votes to legalize recreational marijuana for adult use. State Assembly Majority Leader Crystal Peoples-Stokes of Buffalo is a lead sponsor and a mover and shaker on this legislation. So, is this the year we will see it pass?
We're ready. Let's negotiate this. Let's get this done.
Fact: New York State has a huge deficit. Fact: surrounding states and Canada have already legalized recreational pot for adults. It is a money game, right?
I wish it wasn't, but it is a money game at this point.
Attorney Elise Bergio co-chairs the State Bar Association's Cannabis Committee. Here's what's really happening. There are two bills. The legislators have a bill and the governor has a bill. Both call for legalizing adult use of marijuana. But one of the biggest differences is how much you will pay for it.
Taxation is huge.
Under the governor's Cannabis Regulation Tax Act, there's 3 levels of taxes. The first tier is a tax from the wholesaler to the retailer. And then there's a tax from the retailer to the consumer. And then there's the local and sales tax. This is a big deal because one of the reasons behind legalizing pot is to stop people from going to the black market.
You can't really do that if people are still opted out because it's too expensive. And they're going to go to the person down the street, even though public health would dictate it's not a great choice.
Why would somebody want to go to a dispensary and buy marijuana when they can probably still go get it, maybe not as safe, from the guy on the corner because it's cheaper? And it really is about money for the people who want it.
So if we start out from a premise that, I think puts us in a position that we're not going to be competitive, then it's going to take us longer.
Peoples-Stokes thinks the taxes are too high. Meanwhile, passage could be good for Buffalo and Western New York.
We have pretty low real estate for people to buy either retail stores. I'll tell you this, a lot of people out of New York City are reaching out for upstate rural farmland that's just begging to be built on. We also have a lot of access to energy.
And license holders who have access to energy could get incentives. The time to get in the game is really now. Another difference with the governor's bill is criminalization.
Currently, it is a misdemeanor to sell a small amount of marijuana to even a 20-year-old college student. But under Governor Cuomo's bill, that will become a Class D felony.
This is a governor who has talked about marijuana justice, but has actually preserved criminality for several offenses related to marijuana.
Well, we demand that the revenue and the money generated goes back into communities most harmed and to reinvest in programs like job training, education, and mental health care.
Cuomo's bill has a community reinvestment fund.
Where he's, suggesting that he would put $100 million, this year and $50 million in 5 years out.
She says it's not adequate and there should be a steady stream.
I think that it does need to be in the statute. He's a good governor, but he's not going to be governor for life. And quite honestly, you don't fix the devastation that's happened in people's lives from a generational perspective out of a 4-year governor.
So again, is this the year smoking pot as an adult for recreation becomes legal?
At some point in the next 12 to 18 months, there should be adult use marijuana where you can go and you might only be able to buy up to like an ounce, or depending on what the regulations turn out to be, but you'll be able to buy, gummies, flour, tincture, anything like that.
If you had to talk to the governor right now, what would you say to him when it comes to this particular legislation?
I think we want to change a few things. We want to lose that additional criminalization that you've added. We'd like to see the taxes reduced so that we will be competitive.
Do you see recreational marijuana being legalized this year, finally?
I do see it being finally approved.
Marrying the legislator's bill and the governor's bill is favorable.
The legislation is valuable on its own as a standalone policy, but if that's what it takes to get it done through the budget process, let's go. I mean, I would like to see it happen this year, 2021.